One of our regular correspondents found a very interesting interview discussing the whole Khalistan situation and the great big Sikh question in India. And the interview raised many interesting points. Some we agree with and some we don't, but it does form a fascinating platform to address many of the key discussion points about the establishment of Khalistan and, of course, the many myths and untruths circulating that need to be addressed and corrected. Now, let's answer these points. He's presenting a picture of Sikh life in India that is a rather sanitised, but it's also a little bit misleading. And he's pointing, of course, to high-ranking Sikh officials and a lack of overt Hindu-Sikh envy as some sort of proof that you call it seamless assimilation. In other words, everything's hunky-dory, everything's happy. But this narrative is actually ignoring the structural reality of how a majoritarian state, in other words, 80% majority Hindu, maintains control over a significant and distinct minority. And his argument that Sikhs are well placed because they're in all sorts of positions of hierarchy is a classic thing of what we call the gilded cage strategy. Now, throughout history, any captor or dominant state seeking to suppress a sovereignty movement particularly will always reward good slaves, those who conform to the state's narrative, the nationalistic framework. In other words, you work with us, we'll reward you with positions of visible but still ultimately subordinate responsibility. In other words, we'll give you little bits of responsibility, we'll give you these big positions, but you'll never really be in charge. That's really what it's all about. By placing a Sikh in a federal ministry or the presidency, the Indian state creates a powerful visual. You can almost call it a sedative. Go back to sleep, everything's all right. It's designed to make the community and the world believe they live in a benign, meritocratic society. In reality, these individuals are just basically buffers. They're there to provide the Indian state with a sick face to justify policies that may actually be detrimental to harm the broader community's hopes, aspirations for self-determination. In other words, we'll give you big positions because it's going to kill the Khalistan movement, is basically what he's saying.